equals a zero.
We make everything look good, including being overweight. So, scientifically, you cannot drink alkaline water and it makes your cells apolytic.
The closer you are to nature, the healthier you'll be.
All right. Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome in. I am Carolyn, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. We are live streaming on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for coming in. As you are coming in, please go ahead and share the live. We're just getting started. We have a great show lined up. Go ahead and share the live. Topics of show topics today are how food becomes life, the powerful plants of human life, excuse me, and the hidden world that shapes your health. Last but not least, how your body cleans and rebuilds itself. So again, please come on in, share the live as you're coming in, drop your comments, let us know that you're there. Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get started. Good morning to you.
And good morning to you. And it's a really wonderful, wonderful day because today is the day that we have our favorite. I don't even want to say guest anymore. I'm just, it's just like he's also a part of the big three here. This is with the trilogy. So,
Hey.
Dr. James is here, everybody. Yeah, I wish we could put those claps on, that we have on the other programs. But we want you to really pay attention to this because this is Dr. James is actually going to talk to us about how food becomes life. And that's the teeny things, the things that we can't see that's going on, and understanding what a cell is, a little cellular nutrition. This is going to be fantastic. There will be some words that you might not be too familiar with, but we're going to break it down for you so that you will understand. Man, this is going to be great. So before I go on, I'm going to turn it back over to Kara so she can give some shout outs, and we're coming right back with the wonderful Dr. James.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. Want to shout out Allison. Hello, hello. Good morning. We are both here. Now, when he says that, he means that he means that my mom and him, they are both there. Thank you so much for joining, Dad. I appreciate it. Anyone that's dropping any comments, go ahead and drop your there you go. Hey Yolanda, welcome in, welcome in. Good morning, blessings, Big Mama from Dearborn, Michigan. We appreciate you every time you are here. Thank you so much for joining. All right, again, we are live streaming on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. If you have any comments, any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. We will be here, or Dr. Zarif and Dr. James are here to answer your questions, okay? Jason E. Smith, hello, hello. Strong sun rising, everyone. Same to you. Thank you so much for being here. Michelle Franklin in the house. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Always appreciate you being here so much, okay? Let's get going. Dr. Zarif, I'm going to hand it on back over to you so we can get it going. All right?
Okay, thank you, Carol. We want to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bring up not just another brother, but a brother like no other. He's going to talk to us about these wonderful things today. And before we get into that, I want you to get to know him a little better by the introduction to some of the things that are coming up for 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. James Thompson in the house.
Thank you. Thank you.
Woo!
It's great to be here. Happy holidays to everyone. And we'll be finishing one year and starting another one. So we certainly want to end this one on the right foot, with the right attitude, and start fresh anew with 2026.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
And those of you that want to keep your feet, you said starting off on the right foot. If you want to keep this, stay away from diabetes. But anyway, I regress. Uh, all right. So, Dr. James, it's some of the things that you got going on that's really, I'm really glad to be a part of some of this for the 28-day kickstart. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, I am medical director of a foundation. It's called Healthy Living with the Vision Foundation, and we're located at healthylivingwiththevision.org. And we will be starting our third annual Zoom conference, 28-day start to plant-based eating. And that starts January 20th at 7 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And it's a 1 hour program that involves 4 Tuesdays where we come together in a town hall format and we have presentations from experts, starting with Dr. Zarif, who will be talking about, who will be kicking it off, talking about nutrition in the context of heart health, and that's the theme of the 4 Tuesdays, having you construct your day, your food choices, your lifestyle towards preserving your heart. The number one killer of people in this country and many developed countries, if not around the world, is heart disease. And so we'll kick that off on Tuesday with Dr. Zarif. And then the following Tuesday, at the same time, for 1 hour on Zoom, we will have a plant based health coach who will give you her, her ideas on how to preserve health through daily activities. And then along with her, there will be a certified plant based dietitian who will give a small presentation about the nuts and bolts about foods and nutrition and your daily choices. And then the third Tuesday will be a board certified cardiologist. I have one that's located here where I am in Sacramento that is plant based oriented, and she will give you a review through the lens of a cardiologist about heart health. And we'll wrap up with me on the last Tuesday. We'll put it all together and send us off to start off our journeys in 2026 with good choices for not only foods, but how we live our lives.
Beautiful. That's excellent. Excellent. And everybody, thank you very much, Dr. James. We also have some other things coming up, and good. Or I shouldn't say. Well, I was going to say another greeting, but Chef Babette turned 75 years old today. Let's give it up, Chef Babette in the house. She's actually, this is a really big day for her because she's not only going to celebrate her birthday, but she's also celebrating the moving back to Ohio, where she's going to continue her business there. The Stuff I Eat will be closing really soon. And, if you get a chance to stop by to Chef Babette's party, it is right on, this is in Inglewood, California, on Market Street. I don't know the exact address, but look it up. It's Stuff I Eat, and it's from 6 to 9 p.m. And that is tonight. Is going to be some live music there. We're going to have, of course, some goodies to eat and drink, and we're really looking forward to seeing you there. One of the things that we want to also bring or add to your calendar is to purchase the new books that we have available. Yes, I did say that with an S because we are very, very proud, brothers, to have our own books. So I'm going to go back to Dr. James. Dr. James, talk a little bit about your book.
Oh, thank you. Yes, my book is entitled Fearless Wellness, Transforming Your Life One Step at a Time. And it's on Amazon, and it was published in March of this year. It was my first book. And it's a guide, a health guide, a reference for you that uses the acronym Fearless to establish or reflect on 8 pillars. F, food being first, and I think probably most important because we We make choices 2 or 3 times a day about that. So food, plant forward eating. It's not a vegan book. I happen to be a vegan, but it's a book really to be plant forward, to move you towards a basically plant based lifestyle. And then the E is for exercise. Regular exercise is very important. You'll find out as we talk about mitochondrial health. And then the A is for avoiding toxins, not just tobacco and pollution and alcohol, which are toxins to our bodies, but also those 10,000 food additives in highly processed food. And then the R is for restorative sleep, very important. And the L is for lessening stress. The second E is for engaging your mind. For people past their mid 60s like me, that's important. The mind must exercise too, even after you retire. And then the last 2 S's for social energy and spiritual connectivity. So the book is all about that, plus many bonus chapters on the new weight loss pills and on probiotics and supplements and COVID and a number of other items of interest. So thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you. I want to make sure that you give them where can they buy your book right now?
Yeah, right now it's on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's also in an Audible form for those that prefer to listen to their books. So it's on Audible and on ebooks.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, we are really making sure that we're getting off to a good start, everybody. Do something new. Do something to come out of that same shell, the same thing that you've been doing over and over, talking about you're going to make a change and you're not going to eat like that anymore. And all that is just entertainment. We want you to drop that entertainment and make it work, put some action behind it. This is not a rehearsal. This is your life. And we want you to start making better choices. Now, there's no doubt that there are better ways to eat than others. The thing that I want you to keep in mind, or I suggest for you to keep in mind, is to eat those foods that are they're more protection against risk of disease and illnesses. So when you're eating whatever style you're eating, make sure that you can take a little time to find out the risk that you're taking. Are you increasing the risk of disease and infection, or are you reducing the risk? And this is what it's all about today. We want to talk to you about some of the things that will give you better purpose. And since our audience is mostly Black, I want to make sure that you know that this is mainly or primarily what we're here to do. That's to keep us alert. You see, people talk about Black power. They talk about, we're a nation, and we talk about how strong Black people are. But if we had to be tested on things that we're doing to keep ourselves healthy, I think that we'll have a low grade there. So let's bring that grade up. Some of the main causes, for instance, would be like food insecurity. And in Black communities include the systemic economic inequalities and discrimination. Now, there are several factors that contribute to this issue. And you have economic inequality, you have unemployment rates, access to education, racism and discrimination. You also have food deserts. Now, that was a thing. It's still a thing, meaning that there should be equal choices in the suburb as there are in the inner city. So for our Black people, or where people are not privileged, or let's say deprived of the privileges of eating healthier food. So that's something that's quite important. The systemic racism significantly actually impacts the food excess by creating and perpetuating disparities in availability and affordability of nutritious food. And you've heard that over and over if you're following this nonsensical political state that we're in now. But uh, we need to keep ourselves aware of those things that keep us strong and healthy. And when we get distracted from that, then we get caught up in, for instance, the health disparities. And we get limited access to nutritious foods that exacerbate the health issues in these communities, creating a cycle of food insecurity and poor health outcomes. So we want to take the responsibility for ourselves because we either can choose to have foods that again increase the risk of illness, or we can eat in a way that the foods decrease the risk of illness. Okay, so as we go on here, I wanted to also just add into the some of the, as far as research, like I know that in our community we got hoodoo and voodoo and black magic and all these different types of um, beliefs. These are superstitions, but they're beliefs. And whatever you believe, those things become your reality. And that's why we want to make sure that you're looking into the research and see what does that indicate, and why is science there. Science is there to prove that certain things work. Research indicates that poor nutrition significantly impacts the health of Black Americans. Now, malnutrition related deaths are notably high among Black and white non Hispanic individuals, raising the concerns about underdiagnosis in Black patients despite similar mortality rates. Now, the factors contributing to this issue include food insecurity and limited access to healthy food options, which disproportionately affect Black communities. So, this is a thing. This is not just talking something just for a radio show. This is a thing. This is what we're living. And we continue to let these different uh, I would say fast food joints that come into our community, and they continue to propagate this kind of foods that makes us the sickest. From here, I'm going to go ahead and talk about now how food becomes life. And we're going to have that kicked off by Dr. James. Dr. James?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Food becomes life. Well, you know, some of this gets a little philosophical, but it's still rooted in science, and that is that life is really about energy. It's about the transformation of or the transition from one material to another that provides energy for living. Because the difference between someone that's living and someone that's dead is the energy that's flowing through the live person. So some of us are just living and getting by with, eating just enough to sustain, getting just enough sleep, exercising a little bit, but not consistently. That's living, but that's not thriving. Thriving is when you flourish and you have vitality and you have purpose and you have joy in your life. And the way to achieve that is to have more energy. And where do we get our energy? Well, a major part of our energy comes from food. And how does food translate into life? Well, latest research has gotten down to the molecular level of things, the cellular level. And in our cells, we have these what's called organelles, these little tiny batteries or powerhouses called mitochondria. When our mitochondria are popping and working for us. We have vitality. We're healthy. All our cells are working. When our mitochondria are sick, we're sick. We're tired all the time. We're fatigued. We don't have, we're low energy. So, as Dr. Zarif mentioned, making the right choices of foods that help you in health leads to having healthy mitochondria. Those are the parts of the cell that provide energy. Now, our nerves, like the nerves in our brain, contain thousands of mitochondria. They may take up 25 to 40% of the space of the nerve. That's how important it is because mitochondria make ATP. ATP, ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, and that is the currency of energy. Without ATP, we don't live. And our mitochondria are constantly making ATP. Our muscles are loaded, thousands of mitochondria, so that we can move. Our digestive system, our kidneys, our immune cells, every cell in our body, except for red blood cells that don't really need them for what they do, and they have other ways of getting energy by their shape and size and everything. But every other cell has mitochondria in it. So it's really important to understand that concept. And then we move forward towards, well, how do we keep our mitochondria healthy? So that's kind of sets the stage. Mitochondria, these intracellular, they're inside the cell organelles, they're called, that provide the energy by taking the food we eat, mostly sugar and fat, and converting it into ATP, the currency of energy for our cells to function, for our tissues to function, for our heart, our liver, our brains to function. And so that's where we start. So I'll send it back to you, Dr. Zarif.
Beautiful, beautiful. And now we also need, as Dr. James said, we need something to give us that we to keep the fuel. We need the fuel, right? And what is fuel? Food. So this is why we're here to give you better choices in the food that you eat. Now our body breaks down everything that's in it, but we want to make sure that those foods that are being broken down are foods that can also be distributed, or the types of fuel that can be distributed throughout the body. And that's your carbohydrates, your fats, and your proteins. And that's why it's so important to know these macronutrients and what they do, because they are actually the fuel that your body uses. Now, if you overdo it or if you underdo it, there's a consequence for it. And that is not having equilibrium or balance in your systems. Along with the carbohydrates and fats and proteins, there are ultra processed foods, and they're ultra processed, meaning that they are processed extremely over and over and over, in order to capture the sight and the attractiveness of the product. That's why so much money is put into photos when it comes to packaging, because they want it to look good. I remember I was eating some Famous Amos cookies. When I got here from Detroit, they said, "Oh, Famous Amos," and they had a big old cookie on the pack. And I was like drooling. I couldn't wait. I said, I had in my mind it was going to be nice and chewy and soft, and it would have the chocolate in it. And I opened the bag, and they had these little bitty cookies like this, and they are hard as a rock. And I was like, man, but they sold them to me, and everybody else was buying them because of that photo. The photo looks so real. Another thing about the energy is the helpers like oxygen and enzymes. Oxygen is super important. You can't even digest without it. Enzymes are super important too, because enzymes are just incredible. They help to digest, and they also help us or protect us from digesting our own flesh, like auto cannibalism, for instance. Then the adenosine triphosphate, as Dr. James mentioned, this is very important because as you see on the diagram, the ATP, the enzymes, the food, the oxygen, the water, all of this is a minutia of things that we need in order to break these particular um, foods that we're eating down. And lastly, the waste products. And the waste products would be the carbon dioxide. And then that's the carbon dioxide is very important. It seems like it, and we don't need that. No, but guess what? That's what our plants thrive on. And that's what they need. It comes out of us, and then the plants use it for their growth and, of course, water. So, with that, make sure that you put your comments in the comment field so that we can talk to you about this a little more. I want to get right into the mitochondria a little bit. How, Dr. You might want to talk on this, Dr. James. When a person wants to think of their mitochondria, would they go right to what would they think about when they what would be an easy way to remember mitochondria?
Um, I would say thinking it as the powerhouse. That's where you
Uh,
get power, the powerhouse of the cells. And why would the powerhouse be important? Because of what we've used that term energy. We want energy. We want vitality. We want to be able to move freely without pain. We want to be able to participate in our daily activities without setbacks, without resistance, because of pain, because of low energy, because we're fatigued. And so when we eat for power, for feeding not only our appetites, but for feeding those powerhouses, then we know we're getting somewhere. One question I see that came up was, what are the best foods to rebuild muscle? And really, muscle is made of protein, right? So we know that's that one of those macro ingredients that Dr. Zarif was talking about, and we get from plant foods, which is the best source of protein. We get proportionally more protein from beans and whole grains, but guess what? We get protein also from greens and fruit. So any plant food you eat that hasn't been adulterated by highly processing them contains amino acids, which means it contains protein. So we can get adequate protein from plants, which helps to build muscle. Now, what particularly can help the mitochondria? Uh, well, that would be plants that are overall good for our bodies. The greens, the berries, the beans. This will be a broken record, but it's really gets back to the same thing that feeds that gut microbiome that governs the natural processes of all body systems. So fiber, and diverse fiber from berries, from other fruits, that rainbow color of fruits, from greens, from beans, from from herbs and seeds, from nuts. Walnuts are very good for health for your mitochondria. So those walnuts, the berries, they're all good. Melons have a way of reducing those free radicals, and so do the cruciferous vegetables. They tend to detox and reduce those free radicals, which allow for your mitochondrion to be more effective, to be more efficient. So all of these things can work together.
Beautiful. And this is really important. The making sure that it only makes sense if you eat healthy food, all those beautiful foods, all of the different choices. And as Dr. James just said, the best protein is coming from what? Plants. If you think about the largest animals, for instance, a giraffe, a rhinoceros, a hippopotamus, an elephant, all of these are herbivores, and they eat the foods that keep them large. You haven't ever seen a skinny elephant. I mean, it's that if you have, is rare. Or other animals that take 75 or more percent of their day, that's all they do is eat, 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 eat. And it's really important for you to get that understanding, because that will give you more meaning to make a better choice. If you don't have a good why or a good purpose for eating, then what we're telling you is just going out the other ear. You're probably saying, oh, what can I eat? And it's probably something that, isn't that healthy for you. But if you start right where you are, you start with these wonderful vegetables and fruits. Now, with that, of course, you want to get something that you can refrigerate up to about 3 or 4 days, because that is the balance of getting fresh stuff, unless you live on a farm or something. But you want to make sure that you get a good rhythm with your produce. You also want to make sure that you have plenty of clean water there. We'll go over, some of the things as far as how you can keep the clean water. You got to keep clean water. If you don't have clean water, then that is an addition to other problems. But keeping your mind on those things that are beautiful, green, and the aroma of these foods, like a beautiful green to a red radish to, you have the apples, and then you have all of the lycopene that you may find in a papaya or a watermelon. Is really incredible. Start to like foods that are different, that you haven't been liking or choosing for the longest, and you end up going back in that circle. Now, if we could here, what we like to do, as far as someone asks a question about the what's the best sources of protein. So, Dr. James, can you explain to us the urolithin?
Sure. Yes, and so urolithin A is a compound that actually we can make, and to be more specific, it's our gut bacteria that make it from the foods we eat. So urolithin A is something that helps to energize mitochondria, those powerhouses of the cell. They help. They tend to help to sustain the mitochondria. They tend to influence making more mitochondria. And so urolithin A, you can look at it. Oh, I see you have it posted there. You can vet this yourself online, but it's a highly sought after compound now. There are supplements for it, but I believe getting these compounds from whole foods is the safest and most efficient way, because that's what your body's geared towards.
That's right.
And so they do. But the way they prove that urolithin A works is by isolating it and extracting it so that they can give it to animals or humans and then see what happens. So they have studied this and found that people of age greater than 60, like me, when they've had urolithin A added to their daily meal, that they have higher grip strength, that they can walk further. There are studies that look at this now. And so you can get urolithin A from various foods, or rather you can get the precursors for it, where your microbiome can make it from certain foods like berries, particularly raspberries, blackberries, strawberries. Walnuts also can help you create or form more urolithin A. So that's an important compound that tends to enhance mitochondrial health, which means it can provide you more energy.
Excellent. And I think this also points back to the kind of foods that it seems now, just from the few things that we've mentioned, that food has a lot to do with how you feel. You see, the urolithin A is talking about that energy, right? Just like Dr. James said. And if it's talking about that energy, then you want to make sure that you're eating the foods that are going to complement the production of urolithin A. And our bodies slow down, and not only in the urolithin A, but it also slows down in making other wonderful chemicals that changes as we get older. But it doesn't mean, just because when you don't get just old, when you get older, you're getting wiser. as you can get stronger in other in situations, mentally figuring out things without strain. But it's really important to every period of your life to get all that you can get out of it. And a big part of that is choosing the right foods. When you don't choose the right foods, you end up eating anything. When you don't have a time that you should eat, when you do that, you just like, hey, I don't know, whatever. You don't have a plan. When you don't have a plan, as it says, you plan to fail. And this is why we have so many problems. The heart conditions, cardiovascular conditions have been leading for over the last 100 years of people dying from heart diseases and poor heart health. We want to change these things. Now, I know that you out there, you have an uncle or aunt or someone that is maybe faced with especially type 2 diabetes. We can change that by changing the way that we eat. And perhaps we'll get into that as we continue talking about some of the cellular nutrition that we're going over today. But we wanted to make sure that you understand that it is on you to make a better choice, because if you don't make the choice, we can talk until we're just, blue in the face, and you won't get it at all. Remember, take action. Take action. That's what energy is energy equals the ability to work. And that's what it's all about, the ability to work. We're going to stop now and take a little break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk to you a little bit about intracellular fat right after we bring up the wonderful Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that has joined us here. We are live streaming on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and on Instagram. So thank you for everyone that's sharing, dropping comments. We appreciate it. Love to see the comments in the chat. All right. Yolanda says, I liked and shared. Happy holidays to all. Thank you so much for liking and sharing. Happy holidays to you as well, Yolanda. Really do appreciate it. And welcoming back Dr. James. So yes, welcome back, Dr. James. I appreciate it. Virginia Watson. Oh, she's just saying thanks. Maybe that may have been to someone else, but no problem. I just like to go ahead and read the comments because I appreciate every comment that everyone drops. Yolanda saying 28-day, the Kickstarter is interesting. Healthy nutrition information is needed. Great way to start the year. Let's get it. And she's referring to the 20-day kickstart that Dr. James has, that program, and I'm sure they'll mention it again for anyone that missed it. So definitely, thank you so much for that, Yolanda. Hey, Denise Kane, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Cheryl Gentle Smart. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Jeffrey Taylor. Appreciate you being here. We really do appreciate you being here. Teresa Henry. I'm just looking at the at. So excuse me if I'm not saying the complete, but on YouTube it changes up your name, your at name a little bit. But she says, I'm here. Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Z. Thank you so much for joining, and I appreciate everyone that's here. Let me see, Yolanda, getting older, not for the weak, for the weakest link. And no one prepares to live 100, especially still healthy. Yes, absolutely. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. As I mentioned, we are live streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. I don't have Instagram up for whatever reason. It's not showing me that you're live, Dr. Zari. But if you have anything on Instagram, and I'm not ignoring Instagram. If you can see me, I just don't see you. Yeah, that's it, Dr. Zarif. I can bring it back to you.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to Omay Photography over there with the wonderful Sean from the wonderful group Impromptu. He's in the house today. Also, we have Sidame Wow, this is an interesting name. But we're gonna Sitimelyana. Okay, I'm giving you a shout out. Thank you for being here. And of course, we have Fearless MD21. Always welcome. Be here. Thank you for being here. Now, from here, we want to go back. Now, those of you, if you finding that this is very helpful for you, good, because you're in luck. We're going to do this at least every third Saturday of each month. Now, we have the privilege to be working with one of the greatest minds in nutrition and, of course, in many areas. Doctor, if you don't realize it by now, Dr. James is quite talented. A lot of information in that dome, and unfortunately, we're sharing it with you so that you can make choices, not because we don't have anything to do. I'm sure at 8 a.m. in the morning, with all the preparation that it takes to bring you the information and to get to you the stuff that you need to know in order to grow. Yeah, I'm sure you can appreciate it. Lolo Smiles 8 just got in. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to go ahead and go back to intracellular fat. Now, the fat flux, we probably heard about that. And let's what do you think? What can we talk about on this issue of intracellular fat, Dr. James?
Yes, well, our body, first of all, we don't want to vilify fat. We know that we actually need fat. It's just that in the standard American diet, there's too much fat and there's too much of the wrong type of fat. So the bad fats, of which there's no controversy, people across the board in science at least agree to this, are the trans fats, which have been outlawed. Not, FDA doesn't approve of foods that have more than like zero point 0.5 grams per serving now of trans fats. Trans fats are these fats that we know reduce HDL, that good cholesterol, and increase bad cholesterol, the LDL. So we know that. We know it increases heart attacks and strokes and and increases the rate of congestive heart failure, the incidence of congestive heart failure. So trans fats are something we don't get a lot of when we buy food now, but they are in animal products. Small amounts are in animal products. And when you fry food, you get trans fats. Now, why is this relevant to this discussion? Because they're toxic to mitochondria. They also make our mitochondria sick, the parts of our cells that provide us the energy we're talking about to thrive. Second, there's trans fats. I'm sorry. Second, there's saturated fats. Saturated fats are also in animal products, in milk. And the highest amount that we get really is proportionally in the dairy products that we eat. People are probably surprised. I would think it would be meat, but no, dairy products, because we eat so much cheese and so much other products made from milk that's our greatest exposure to saturated fat. And then secondarily, meat. Saturated fats first infiltrate cells, liver, muscle cells, even at some point our pancreatic cells, where our insulin comes from. And once they get into those cells, they cause insulin resistance by gumming up the insulin receptor, by making the insulin receptor faulty, by it not being able to work. So these fats deposit inside the cells. These saturated fats and trans fats can have a hand in this, and they make us more insulin resistant. And then that leads to the glucose, the sugar going up, and eventually, over months, sometimes years, diabetes type 2. And so that's why this is an important concept to grasp, that fats can be a toxin to our cells, and they can, for lack of a better term, poison our mitochondria. Now, they're not the only thing that can harm our mitochondria, but I'll leave it at that. We can proceed.
Uh, that was beautiful. The thing that I love about it is that we're giving you piece by piece And the way that we're giving it to you is also the way that you can grow, the way that you can learn, the way that you can hold on to the things that we're sharing. Now, again, it's up to you. So what does that mean? We want you to stop, take a study of yourself. Like, what is going on in your head, your neck, your arms, your hands, your legs, your feet, and then once you do that, you should have some urgency to make any corrections any things that you need to correct or to improve. One of the things that I think that Dr. James agree with me on would be to make sure that you go get an examination. It's good to know what's happening with your body. You can't fix what you don't know that's broken. So it's good to get in there and make sure that you get these examinations. Now, some of you haven't been to the doctor to get an examination, and some of the apparatus has changed. It's been so long since you've been there. However, there are a lot of new, latest technology tools that can be used. Less pain. There's all kinds of instruments that are used to be more accurate in your diagnosis. You have a slew of things that are so good about you getting an examination. And this is important because what you can do is that you can also reduce the chances of any other type of disease. It can help you to avoid a lot of agony from different symptoms when you find out what the heck is going on with your body. If you don't know, again, it's just like, hey doc, how you doing? I'm fine. I'm broke. Fix me. And that's one of the things. If something is wrong, or I don't want to say wrong with you, but if it's something that you're feeling that is unhealthy, you want to have a checkup, an examination, so that this will help you to help yourself. Um, the other thing that is important to get some idea of is what is happening through your digestion. And I know Dr. James going to help us with this one. This When it comes to our gastrointestinal tract, when it comes to the food that we eat and how it breaks down, how do we take it from food and it all the way to the point that it extrapolates those nutrients and it becomes a part of our body. And then all of us have a waste regulation where we remove the or excrete the waste from the body. Did you want to add something in there, Dr. James?
Um, I'll just say that it is important to know that when we do eat these foods, there's a there's a term called opportunity cost, and that is that when we eat a lot of meat and dairy and eggs and things like that that don't contribute to this health of the mitochondria, the health of the microbiome, there's an opportunity cost because we only take in so many calories, right? Most of us, the average person, the average size, takes in maybe about 2,000 calories. Now, of course, bigger people take in more.
Mhm.
People more elite athletes take in more, but on average, about 2,000 calories. So if most of those calories are coming from highly processed food, from meats and things like that, or junk food, then there's an opportunity cost. So the very things we're talking about don't happen. The mitochondria don't get um, healthier. The gut microbiome gets more unhealthy and out of balance with bad actors creating more problems for our heart, for our hormone balance, for our nerves, for our brain. And so in this process of when you take something in and it goes through your body, because the gut is our greatest interface with the outside world. Okay, there's no greater, we breathe air in and out, we visualize things, a picture goes to the back of the mind. But when we eat something, we're taking something from the outside world and it's going through our body. And there's just one cell lining between what we eat, whether it's good or whether it's something toxic. One cell lining between that and getting into the bloodstream. And that cell lining is influenced by what you eat. So if you're eating a lot of sugary stuff, complex sugars, like table sugar, a lot of junk foods, sweets, pastries, donuts, things like that. If you're eating a lot of highly processed foods, you're damaging that cell lining. You're damaging your immune system, which 70% is in your gut. You're damaging your mitochondria because fat builds up in those cells and it's toxic to the mitochondria. And these processes tend to make you age faster, get sicker, and have weight gain, which then causes more problems. So it's a vicious cycle of poor health. But if you make healthy food choices, then your digestive system will take in these food products, make these what we call short chain fatty acids from the microbes in your gut, and enhance life, enhance the activity of your mitochondria. Your mitochondria will divide, and so those are and make more mitochondria so that you have more energy. So it all kind of reverts back. And the beauty of it is you got the trillions of bacteria that can work for you when you eat right. And then you have these derivatives from one-celled organisms in the form of mitochondria. Mitochondria was an isolated cell at one point, a million years ago, maybe 100,000 years ago. And then it got engulfed by a bacteria. And then one thing led to another, and it was producing energy for the cell, and the cell was giving it ingredients to survive. And then we come to the human being now, where we're loaded with mitochondria in our cells. But now these cells are the currency of our life. These cells are extremely important for our day-to-day activities, for our consciousness, for what we are. And what we eat each day we take something in to eat, we are influencing these cells. Thanks.
Yes, definitely it. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's really a trip that if you just listen to what Dr. James just shared, we have the opportunity to choose healthy foods, and these healthy foods will help to support our systems that keep us energized, that will keep us in the bed. Feeling has a lot to do with it too, is how you feel, and most people would ask you about that. But when we look at the opportunity to eat the foods that keep us healthy, if you still patting your belly and say, I got to get rid of this, yeah, ever since I got married, I got this, or you blame it on, hey, when I was playing ball, I can't get back in that kind of shape. Whatever excuses that you're using, you can do it. You have people that are in the blue zone that do it. You have people that are just in our families that do it. They eat in a certain way, but none of which are gluttony. When a person gluts, they overdo it. And that's what we do. We pack these places. You have these different, there's the restaurants, I don't know what is it, the something corral, but these all that you can eat joints that, you eat until you just fall over, you just unconscious. And it's like, come on, now you overdoing it. And if you overdo anything, you can definitely expect that you're going to get a derogatory response. I want to go over just briefly with this, and Dr. James, you definitely welcome to jump right in whenever you see you want to. I just want to get back on the food. Our food, everybody. If you I forgot who told me this, but like if it's in the house,
It's
if
in your
it's
mouth.
there you go. Yeah, if it's in the house, it's in your mouth. So anything, let's start with that. If you have something in your house that you're telling yourself you're not going to eat it until Valentine's Day or Christmas and all that, look, if it's in the house, it's going to be in your mouth. That's the way it's going to come that day. It's going to happen. So let's first start off with that. If there's something that is detrimental to your health, get it out of your house. And detrimental, not meaning that it's just going to be harmful in a physical way, but it may cause you, it may be a trigger to starting up bad habits all over again. And every time you take a move forward, you actually squash it because you're not paying attention to the strategy that's necessary in order to overcome some of the habits. When you in your mouth, when we eat, our body is way more complex than we think. In the mouth, we have amylase, and then this amylase helps to break down, or it's also called carbohydrates. It helps to break down the foods that we eat. And then if we're eating fat, or fat is mixed in with those carbohydrates, then we call them upon, or we produce what is called lipase. Lipase breaks down the fat. And even for proteins, although proteins work, they're not in the mouth, they're actually down in the stomach. And those protease is another enzyme that again helps to break down the food. So when you're eating things like your it might be white rice or white bread, or it might be sweet fruit juices and all of those. This is going through the different types of breaking down that our body is breaking things down. For instance, in your mouth, size reduction is happening, along with causing the food that's sticking together before you form what's called a bolus. Bolus is that little the food once you chew it up and just before swallowing. Then you have further size reduction and acidification. Acidification is when the food is in your stomach and it's actually being prepared to extrapolate some of the nutrients, and to also break down the food even more from its solid form. And then as the food moves through your digestive system, there's further nutrient cutting and absorption of nutrients from the digestive tube into your body. That digestive tube is the ascending, the transverse, and the descending colon. And that's in your large colon, but you also have small intestine, and the small intestine is if we would stretch the digestive system all the way out, it'd be about 30 feet long. So it goes through all of this so that we can get the best from it. And lastly, fermentation and absorption of nutrients. That's how we get the stuff that we've been talking about today. It's really important to know that these are not some of the things by accident, but this is the way that we are built on purpose so that we'll have purposeful eating. Okay, well, that's it for today, everybody. I'm going to turn it over back to Dr. James so that we can have closing remarks, and we're going to move forward. Here we go, Dr. James.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how fast this hour goes.
No.
Because we talked about food, but there's so many other things we could have talked about too. Maybe we can do a part two on this.
Yeah.
Exercise, the way exercise increases your mitochondria. It also enhances the health of your mitochondria, and including those millions of mitochondria in the brain, since the brain is constantly active, as well as the importance of rest, proper sleep, getting your 7 to 9 hours, very important. And how fasting can impact this, and intermittent fasting and caloric restriction. You kind of touched on that with the other side of gluttony is restricting calories. That actually has an enhancing effect on your metabolism, an enhancing effect on your mitochondria. So we kind of hit the tip of the iceberg with what we could talk about today, but it's been great. It's been fun. And I look forward to the next time.
Thank you so much, Dr. James, everybody. Yeah.
Dr. Z.
Had to come back in and do my.
This is great. Hey, like we said, we're not just another brothers, but we're brothers like no other. and that's what it's about. You know, we're on the show like ours that's probably on the earth right now. So I'm very glad. When the last time you see this kind of combination or a collaboration about eating well and doing something for yourself, living better, making better choices for yourself. This is why we get caught up in eating those foods that hurt us, because over the years we've been taught, you know, other stuff, eating stuff out of a bag, ultra high temperatures, cooking our food, food refinement. You know, it's like it can go on and on, like Dr. James said. Just so I'll go ahead and zip it up and what's that? Zip it up and throw it away, or whatever that folks say. But thank you so much, Dr. James, for being here. I really appreciate it, man. We need to do this every week. Listen, we gonna end up from that once a month thing to doing something more than that, because we definitely need the help, and we need the professionalism and the understanding of what we're doing to live, or what we call living, to be alive, as Dr. James said, to thrive. We're not here just to be on some kind of breathing machine and making it through, and he alive doing what? Breathing. You know, we need to get out there and be alive, do our thing. And if you love what we're doing, please let us know in the comments, because we have the ability to bring you more. Okay, so thank you so much. And Carolyn, of course, thank you so much. All of the family, hey now, we just want to thank you for being here, and we really appreciate you all. Okay, Carolyn.
Yes, absolutely. Again, thank you all so much for joining us here. Whoever missed it, oh well, too bad. But you guys go ahead and share it with them, okay? Share it with them. Those two, Dr. Zari, Dr. James Thompson, a great, just really appreciate you, Dr. James Thompson, for joining us here. This is a dynamic duo, you know. So anyone that's watching the show right now, if you have not shared, or if you have not gotten information in regards to Dr. James is his 28-day Kickstart Plant-Based Eating um, uh, program that he has starting January 20th. This is the information that you're seeing right here. There's the QR code, and then also the information that you can go and get connected with him. Okay, this is just great information. You, like Dr. Zarif mentioned, you're not going to find this anywhere else. Where are you seeing this? I don't know. Okay, so make sure that you are tuned in. We go live with Dr. James every third Saturday of the month. Correct, Dr. Zarif?
Yes.
Every third Saturday of the month. But here, the Mind of Nature, we are live every Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure that you are involved. Whenever you come in, you share the information. If you did not share the information today, I was going to say something else, but no. Go ahead and share the information whenever you come in. We need to get the word out, okay? And this is the information that we need to get out. Okay, not the other gossip stuff. This is the stuff that we need to go ahead and share. So I'm gonna go ahead and calm down now and just let you again live 8 a.m. Pacific time every Saturday. Join us here in the Mind of Nature. I'm gonna send it back to you, Dr. Zarif.
Thank you very much. I understand, Carrie. I'm excited too, and I'm sure Dr. James is excited too. This is great. We're doing when we can help people. It just really makes and it keeps us accountable to each other. We get it done. This is just beautiful. So we thank the heavens above for all of the things that we're, the wonderful gift of being able to share. Is just very beautiful. So everybody have a beautiful holiday, and we'll see you next week. We see you. It'll be a few days after Christmas, but we want you to know that we appreciate you and do the right thing. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.